I really actually had no idea that I needed branding, and I knew that I wanted to do something. I really kind of started feeling sort of discontent with where I was and what I was doing.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. Have you ever thought of your voice as a critical part of your brand? Well, today's guest truly discovered her voice in a few different places, singing at church, working in the medical industry, and eventually as a voiceover artist. Lisa Stroth is the owner of Vocally Yours, and we're proud to say she's a client of ours from way back. Today, she uses her voice to teach, inspire, encourage, and empower.
Lisa, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. It's been like, how many years ago did we work together on your brand initiative?
I know this, that hotel's not even there anymore.
No.
Mhm.
No. It's like, I think it was like 5.5, because I just
That's
moved
what I
full
had.
time into this about 6 years ago. So maybe 5.5 years ago, something like that.
Exactly. Well, it was such a pleasure. And we're going to talk a little bit about like how we did that today. But I'm just so happy to have you here, Lisa. So Lisa, if you guys don't know, Lisa is just one of my favorite people. She and I have gone out to dinner together in Columbus, Ohio, and spent a little time together on the side. So, and I don't live there anymore full time. So I miss you, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, let's jump into this and learn a little bit more about you. Was there a specific event or a person in your life that you feel like really dominantly shaped who you are and resulted in what you're doing right now?
There were a lot of people who shaped my life, but as far as moving into voiceover, that was totally a God thing. I worked in healthcare. I was a toxicologist for several years and then got a degree as a physical therapist assistant. I really kind of started feeling sort of discontent with where I was and what I was doing. And I thought of all the reasons why. I needed to find a guy and get married. I needed to get more active in my church. I needed a new job. I needed to move. But none of those things really were something that I felt like were going to be what I needed to fill whatever the void was. And I had a client who said to me, "You have a really good voice for voiceover." This was when I was a physical therapist assistant. And my actual response to him was, "Huh, thanks." I think I said, "I don't know what that is." So
I don't know what that is.
yeah. So I looked it up. He said, "You should look it up." So I looked into it. I looked at coaching and I thought, I can't really afford this. This is not something that I've ever wanted to do. So I blew it off. And over the course of a year, there were several things that happened, circumstances, people, that God made it clear that, hey, this was not a random comment. You're supposed to pursue this. And someone told me recently, you've been through a lot of stuff since you started this, and you're so courageous. Your faith is so bold to continue doing what you're doing in the face of adversity or things that just don't make sense. And I said, it was not, and they said, pursuing your passion, pursuing your dream. I said, it wasn't my dream. This was God's plan. And so that makes it easier, I guess, to stay the course when things are challenging, because I know that this is what he called me to. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
No, it makes a complete sense. Like, I got to say, like, one of the things that I really praise God about is figuring out the same thing. Like, he gave me very early what I was supposed to do, which is to be an auctioneer. And I am to this day. I love it. It is a passion. It's a calling that he gave me. And I've always appreciated the fact that I had that early on. So no, you're speaking the language. I know exactly what you're saying. And to be, and he gifted you. You're gifted at it. And that's what, and able to be successful at it because of that.
Actually, I've been educating and encouraging people regardless of the career that I've been in. I took technical manuals in toxicology and put it into conversational lay terms so that I could train the other people on my staff. I did the same thing with physical therapy, took a physical therapist's plan of care and then conveyed it in a way that my patients understood it, knew why we were doing what we were doing. and that they wanted to participate. When I taught in a physical therapist assistant program, same thing. I got to use my voice to educate, and I had one student that it was the best comment or compliment I've ever received, said when he started teaching as an adjunct, he said, "I modeled my teaching after you because you made the hard stuff fun and interesting, and I wanted to keep listening." And I thought, "Oh my goodness, the best thing ever."
Wow.
That is
Wow.
a great compliment.
I
That's
mean,
super.
you were just on a path where it couldn't be denied, you
No.
know?
Mhm.
And when it let's look at it this way, folks, and I'm just going to be as honest as I can. You're in the boring medical world, and then you somehow emerge out of that to become this successful voiceover artist. How in the world does something like that happen?
It's not really a linear path, is it?
And
No, it's not.
this is a challenging industry. You know, you could have the best voice ever, but if the client is not looking for your voice,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you're not gonna get the job.
Right.
So there's yeah, it's
Well,
challenging sometimes.
it's like any other actor, right? And you know, here's a funny story on about that is I went to Florida State University and I had a theater scholarship in Georgia. And I decided, well, that just wasn't big enough. I wanted to find a bigger school with a bigger theater and a more renowned theater program. And so I went to Florida State, got there. And then I found out very quickly that because of my Southern voice back then, because I grew up in North Georgia, that I can only even begin to apply, you know, or to audition for certain roles, and that I wasn't even going to be taken seriously at all for anything that wasn't a Southern play, right? So I had to go through voice classes and change all of that, and that always stuck with me.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
don't realize, you know, how like you were destined for certain things, right? And you with your voice that like obviously I didn't make it in the world of theater. And I say that and I'm okay with this, guys. You don't need to call any therapists or anything. I'm perfectly okay. I actually figured out it just was not for me, right?
Mhm.
And I probably would not have succeeded at it anyway. I really wasn't that good. And that's okay. Again, I'm fine with that. But I love the journey that you took, because what you're saying is you're going to find your people and they're going to find you.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Now, when we first worked with you, we came up with a brand identifier. You know, that's our
Mhm.
calling card there.
Mhm.
Tell everybody what that is and how it fits your direction today.
Sure. So when I first started working with Tanya, I really actually had no idea that I needed branding. And I knew that I wanted to do something in healthcare, communication, medical based projects. And she came up with the voiceover cure, which is a nod to my experience, but it also can be applied. You know, I'm the cure for all of your voiceover needs.
Mhm.
So it really just sort of
Stood the test
expanded.
of
Yeah.
time, right?
Yep.
But it's true. I mean, for the right person, you know, who's looking for your voice and your acumen, and it's not just about your voice. The voice is the first thing they notice, right? But it's the
Mhm,
acumen,
mhm,
it's the
Mhm.
desire to really do a professional job. And I know that
mhm,
about you, right? There are so many artists and actors, voiceover artists out there that don't have that acumen. I mean, let's just be real about it. They don't have it. They might have the talent, but they just don't have the ability to instinctively sense somebody's needs and put together
mhm,
something that really works for them.
mhm.
Mhm.
And that's what's most important to me is to make sure that the client's message is what's heard. Their audience will remember it, they'll retain it, they'll implement the information, they'll respond to a call of action. So that their message becomes as important to me as it is to them.
Yeah. Tell us some of the things that you learned as you were going through that branding process 5 years ago or so. Because I love to hear people's takeaways on, you know, what was difficult for them or what was the super easy part.
Um, well, at first, I felt like the voiceover cure might kind of pigeonhole me into one specific genre, which I did not want to do. I wanted that to be my primary genre, but maybe not the only one. And the more we talked about it, the more I felt like, you know, it does make sense. The cure for all your voiceover needs. And I think, too, like I said, I didn't know I needed branding. And I so that was part of it, was just learning how that applies, being able to keep it consistent. You know, even the logo that you came up with the microphone in the middle and the little heartbeat, uh,
Mhm.
along the outside. It just everything fits together and is consistent, and it's helped me to maintain my consistency as I've done any sort of marketing on social media. The whole and my mission about engaging, encouraging, educating, and empowering. My posts are engaging, encouraging, educating, empowering. I try not to post negative information, negative thoughts, because I feel like there's enough of that out there. And so the voiceover cure just comes right back in.
Well, that brings to mind when we work with people to figure out, okay, what direction is this brand going in? What do you want to be known for? We kind of have to straddle the fence sometimes, right?
Mhm,
So we have to say, okay, where are you now? How is this going to impact you and help you grow right now in the space you're in? And where do
mhm,
you want to go? And how can
mhm,
we straddle that fence to make it work both sides, right?
mhm,
So
Mhm.
even down to the logo that you said, like the microphone and the little heartbeats, right? Heartbeats can be medical. Heartbeats can be love and
emotional.
passion for what you do, right?
Mhm.
Emotional.
Mhm,
So that straddled the fence. Voiceover cure fit perfectly for where you were making money right then, where
mhm,
you
mhm,
wanted to make money. It also fit, right? Like,
mhm,
I'm your cure. What else do you need? Right?
Yeah,
mhm,
that's it.
mhm,
What else do you need? And I'm so glad you brought that up, Lisa, because I can say, I mean, you can attest to this. Everybody questions. It's like, oh gosh, is this the right one? Is this going to
Oh
pigeonhole me? Is
yeah.
this going to box me in? It's
mhm.
a perfectly natural fear.
Yeah, and at least I'm in the boat with you. I didn't know I needed branding. I didn't even know what branding was. I thought I was hiring her to help me market a company, and she
Right.
came in, and totally turned it upside down and said, "No, what we're going to do is build a brand, and then that's going to take care of it." I was like, "What?"
Mhm,
I'm like, she said, "You're going to be out in front of everybody. You're picked." I'm like, "No, I'm not." She's, "Yeah, if you work with me, you are." So
It wasn't quite
it
that,
was pretty
like tone or
close. Well,
anything.
no, it was that sweet, sweet, wonderful tone that she has. But the point that I'm making was I didn't know either. And I was educated to the fact. And now I am all things branding because I just see in people like you that she has worked with that helps bring out a certain confidence and
mhm,
an
mhm,
ability to express that to their ideal customer in a way that they can grow and then to see longevity in it. You're still the voiceover cure.
mhm,
You always will be, no matter where that goes. And I just think that just she nailed it, and she did the same for me. And we've been able
mhm,
to do it with thousands of other customers and clients because branding is important. Right? We got to
Yes.
tell people how to view us.
mhm.
That's
Right.
Mhm.
true. That's true. You have to know how to present yourself. So tell us about some of the most exciting projects you've been working on since we last had a chance to speak with you.
Well, honestly, a lot of my time in the last year really has been spent on I actually have been writing and voicing some e-learning projects for a company that's web-based, uh, physical therapy type products. And actually, the first course that I wrote was like a 12-hour long e-learning course. They sought me out. They looked for someone who had physical therapy experience and voiceover, and they liked my voice. So it was a perfect fit. And I when they asked about writing the project, they said, "We have this e-learning course that we're working on for this product that we have. We would like someone to voice that." And I said, "Okay, yeah, that would be great. Actually, because of my experience, that will be kind of fun and easy. It'll flow well. What's your timeline on when the course will be written?" And they said, "Can you write the course?" And I said, "Uh, sure. I can do that." And I was honest with them. I said, "I've not done that before, but I wrote courses for online education for the physical therapist assistant program. I've been an educator. I've been on the other side of a training program. So I know what it's like to sit either bored or really engaged with what the person's saying. So it may take a little time, but I can do that for you." And so they had their procedure manual. I moved it into a conversational tone so that it didn't sound like I was reading from a procedure manual. And now the course actually has been approved for continuing education in several states for physical therapists and therapist assistants. So that has taken up a lot of my time. But I
Congratulations.
also have started doing some marketing on hold, some phone messaging. and more than I thought I would. And that's just a lot of fun. I worked with clients who said, I don't really know what I want to do with that. And so I kind of, when I think about it, took the lead from you as far as asking questions. What is your company about? How do you want to present yourself? Let's make sure that this represents your brand when we do this marketing on hold messaging. So yeah.
That's
Awesome.
great. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's some cool projects you
Yeah.
put your stamp on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one I want you to talk about of how professional meets personal.
Mhm,
So you come
mhm,
from the professional world, the medical world, originally.
mhm.
And I'll never forget you saying to me, well, if they hire another voiceover artist, they can't pronounce all these words. In the medical field, it's like it's osteosynthetic. What? I mean, I don't know. But you knew how to pronounce all those. So there was no like big learning curves there. So you were able to leverage your understanding of the industry you came from, your passion for doing what you do, and then it takes an even more in-depth infusion into your personal life when you talk about your spirituality.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
tell everybody about your newest project with, I believe it's Zandra TV.
Zandra TV.
Yeah.
Zandra Evans is her name, and she has a streaming TV channel, Zandra TV, and, I had reached out to her. Actually, we met at the beginning of the pandemic when everything was in lockdown. I was doing online networking every day, and I met people on the West Coast that I never would have met, and, I reached out to her again, and actually, no, she reached out to me and said, "Hey, girl, it's been a couple of years. I might have some voiceover work for you if you're still doing that." And I said, "Well, actually, there are some things I've been working on." And the Lord started giving me, I call them little matches, little bits of light. Like I would sit in under a message in church, and there would be things that, oh, I need to write about that. I need to talk about that. And so I'd make little notes, and I started creating short little narratives using scripture as the foundation. And I've done a few to give to people as comfort after they've lost loved ones. I had a friend whose son died suddenly, very young, and I asked for verses from his memorial, different things that I could do to put together to comfort their family. So I reached out to Zandra and said, can we work with this? And so I have 3 short little videos on her streaming TV channel that are inspirational moments with Lisa. I do my own videos, I create my own videos, but their videographer put these videos together, and it's work that I wouldn't be able to do with the products that I have at hand. So I was really thankful for that, but I'm hoping that it's just the beginning. And it's actually one of the reasons that I reached out to you again is those types of videos are things that I want to work on to begin offering as a service, as one of the services that I do. So
And they're
Yeah.
beautiful. They're beautifully written and, of course, beautifully voiced.
Yeah.
I actually had
And
gotten to
pure.
start my pastor asked if I would read the scripture, so we've created a little video, and then he'll say, "Okay, we're gonna read this chapter out of this book," and, a few times I've had the opportunity to do that in church and get to use my voice as part of the ministry, so that's exciting.
That's awesome. So it's still a cure. Isn't that
That's right.
isn't that
That's right.
awesome?
God
It's like
uses it as his cure, and
it's
that
still
is
fitting that
exciting.
same that's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Lisa, it makes us so happy about that because that's
It's
what we would
you
want.
because
It's
it's
you.
you.
It's a perfect
Mhm,
brand identifier to let everyone. And now people are recognizing that. Now,
mhm.
I'm supposed to ask you the billboard question.
So, sometime in the last year or so, I started using the phrase that I am an audio billboard for my clients' products, projects, and services. So, you see a billboard as you drive down the road, and it stands out. You remember that product, you remember that service. Maybe you would even remember the phone number. So, my voice then is an audio billboard. It stands out, it makes people pay attention. It makes people want to lean in and listen for more.
Mhm.
So, I'm a storyteller from a family of storytellers, and, I feel like an audio billboard is just a good way to put it. So
That is a good way to put it. A very good way to put it. Lisa, I'm so proud of how far you've come with this because, you know, when we first started working together, you were already accomplished. You were already successful in terms of marrying together the voiceover stuff inside of the industry that you were known for, but you've expanded beyond that and removed that ceiling and gone after what you wanted, and you're getting it. So we're very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You bet. So is there anything else you want to share with our audience? Just kind of tell them, you know, how to reach you, or if they want to work with you, most especially if you guys are up for the voiceover cure in your business.
So, well, my website is thevoiceovercure.com, and they can go there to listen to my demos. They can also reach out to me at lisa@thevoiceovercure.com or text 614-571-7177. I'm always a little hesitant to put my phone number out there, you know, for everyone to hear, but the information's there. So
That's true. They could find it somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. It's on white pages. Don't worry.
That's so true. That's so true. Well, thank you for being with us today, Lisa.
And thank you. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. We have. And to all you listeners out there, listen, hit that subscribe button. We love to bring guests on like Lisa, especially like Lisa, because we worked with her. She's part of the BrandFace family, and she's doing well with her brand. And we like to give you that information and show you other people out there that are using it and using it successfully. So we're here for you on Be Bold Branding.
Can I give a little plug for Be Bold Branding?
Oh,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the other day, I shared this with Tanya, I binge listened to a ton of Be Bold Branding podcasts. And there were times you don't expect a podcast like this to be necessarily moving. You know, I was in tears a couple of times because things hit so concretely in my spirit, like, oh yeah, that's just confirmation. I had to stop and write things down. So yeah, you're more than just talking about branding. You really have people who listen have there's the potential for just real encouragement and real change in what they're doing. So yeah, that's my little plug.
Oh, that makes us so happy.
Heart.
You know,
You're
that
gonna
makes
make
us
me cry.
Yeah, it makes us so happy. You know, the hope is that, you know, we learned a long time ago, Lisa, that we share what we share, not necessarily because we can't control who listens. We can only control what we say, and we say it based on what we feel like we're led to say. And so to know that it touched you at a time when you were already our friends and stuff, it's still, and you found encouragement in it, that means everything to us. That's
sure does.
Yeah,
Thank
means
you
everything.
for being an absolute doll.
No, thanks.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, hey, you know, I love stories like this, and what a blessing to be able to share this story with you guys. So
yep, this is why we do it, guys. We do it for prosperity. When we talk about that, we're not just talking about money. That's just part of it. We're talking about a full 360 of the abundant life we truly wish for every one of you. We know it, BrandFace, just like Lisa, prosperity favors the bold. Be bold, folks, especially with your brand. And thank you, Miss Tanya. Thank you, Miss Lisa.
Thank you, guys.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.